Hi, this is Roger, thanks for dropping by. After a working weekend, we have a bit of a backache. Twinge, nothing much. It was weird actually, the little thing that showed up how fragile my back could be if I didn't concentrate. This was on Saturday afternoon, not yesterday, and I said to Hannah, I'm just going to run the brush across one of these gravel beds and see how easy it brushes the leaves off to see if it's worth bothering. And that's all I did, and that started my back off. Sweeping is not good, and it became very apparent why. If you think of the motions of using a broom, it's a twist and you're leaning over. Neither of which are good. So luckily, virtually all the rest of the sweeping over the afternoon, Hannah did. She had backache. She hasn't got a bad back, so that shows what it would have done to me. Anyway, we had a good weekend. We got lots done. There is still stuff to do, but I'd be happy for them to arrive and look at this garden as it is now without doing anything else. It's good enough. They can see the effort's been put in. And I can explain to the lady that if she doesn't like it, she can go underneath one of the gravel beds if she likes, help the weeds grow. So that's done. There won't be much more to do with the garden now for a bit. I've got, looks like, it's really funny, the car looks like it's got a forest in the back. All those sticks and everything that were in that corner are now in the back of the car. And they're going to stay there until tomorrow, so we had to drive Hannah home with them in there, and they're still in there now. But the tip is really busy on a Monday because people do stuff over the weekend, and they can't wait to get rid of it, so they're all rushed up there on Monday and queue it up. I'll go Tuesday or Wednesday. And then there's a shed load of bags to go, too many to go in one go, so one lot of bags will go, and then the other lot of bags will go. And we looked up on the website whether it's allowed, and it is. All those half-used tins of paint cluttering up the shed can go to the tip. Yay! For an even tidier shed. Somebody left a comment. I'll have to keep texting Hannah to ask where things are in the shed. Quite honestly, that's how it was. How it is now, I can see where everything is. I can open the door and think, oh, that's where that is, because everything's it's tidy. I can see everything where it is. So that was a real bonus, that. Somebody commented that the shed roof needs fixing because it's leaking, and yes. I will endeavour to get the landlord to agree to pay for the materials, and then I'll refelt the roof, because it's not too much of a big deal refelting a roof, because the first bit goes over the apex and hangs down. And that's all it is. It doesn't even have to be fixed to any extent. But the edges do. They have to be trimmed, but I can get at them relatively easily. So it's a job I could do myself, but not until we get nice weather. So anyway, that's the garden stuff. Right, now, the channel is changing. Don't reel back in horror. These are changes for the better. And you can have 50 useless Roger points if you can work out whose ideas these were, given it was down at the weekend. Right, first thing, I got a hassle with my phone. The battery is really not holding its charge anymore, and it's taking a very long time to charge up. So I'm using energy that I don't really need to use. And Hannah said, well, when you're looking at replacing a battery on an iPhone, you can't do it yourself, it's got to go to iPhone, blah, 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 and it will cost you more than the phone is worth. Why don't you get a new one? I don't like change on things that are doing their job, but this is where we come into it. So I spent yesterday morning, the early part of the morning, the dark bit, looking at refurbished phones, because that's what I've got now, and it's lasted me years and it's never had a problem with it. You get 3 grades of refurbishment, and obviously the top grade is practically perfect with a really long battery life. In other words, the battery hasn't been whacked. And I found basically the model I was looking for at quite a cheap price, and until the end of the weekend it was £30 off. and it was in excellent condition, which is the top layer, the top condition. And with that discount, it made it cheaper than the middle tier. So it brought it down to between the bottom and the middle. So it was a really, really good price. Got a 12-month warranty on it, and next day delivery. It's on its way. Got a notice this morning. It's on its way. And so what have we got then? What we've got is an iPhone 11 Pro. Now, why did we go for the Pro? It's got the triple lens camera system. So I'm now getting a phone with a really good camera and processing power. So what does that mean for the channel then? Well, first thing is I'll be able to do shorts. And bearing in mind that shorts are monetised from the beginning of February, I believe. It might not start then in every country, but UK is usually up the front. So shorts are going to be monetised. So it's an extra income for the channel. And I watch quite a lot of shorts on YouTube. They're just so easy to watch. You see one that you fancy and you watch it and you just scroll. Don't like that one, don't like that one, watch that one, watch that one, don't like that one. And it's just a bit of very light but quick entertainment. And quite honestly, that's the way of the world nowadays, isn't it? Nobody wants to sit down and watch an hour video. They don't even want to watch a film half the time. They break it up into chunks. And shorts is something that I've looked at and couldn't do on my old phone. Tried doing it on my, this camera. It's hopeless. Turned the camera up sideways to get the right aspect. As soon as I put the clip into my software, it turned it the other way around. It wouldn't have it. There was no physical aspect in that software that was upright. It wouldn't do it. So anyway, we've got a new phone coming that will enable me to do shorts. And shorts are a form of income, or they will be soon. So we can have a go at that. That will be incredibly handy for when I haven't got something like a big deal to film. Don't worry, the ordinary videos aren't going away. This is as well as. It's like an enhancement to the channel. Well, that's the way I'm looking at it anyway. So there's that. That's to come. What else would this new phone provide? Really good camera system, processing power, Bluetooth. I'll be able to do live broadcasts direct to YouTube from the phone. So all these people you see walking around an Orchid show with a phone on a stick going, hi, here is me and here is me with so-and-so. No, I'm not doing that, but I could. It will allow me to do live broadcasts without wires all over the place, which is what I have to do with this camera. This camera has to go into a capture card, wires, no Bluetooth. Then from the capture card to the laptop, and then that has to go into some software, and then that has to eventually produce something that goes to YouTube. And it's fiddly, it's a faff, and the idea of just putting my phone on I've got the phone stand to go on the tripod. I bought that a while ago for the other phone and used it once and put it in the drawer. I can get that out again and blow the dust off. So bonus number 2, we get shorts and then we get live broadcasts at the drop of a hat. Now I know the best live broadcasts are advertised in advance. You put a video up saying there will be a live broadcast on this day at this time, so that people can plan around it if they choose to do so. So we will get back into doing some live broadcasts. That's bonus number 2. So that's the phone done, and it will allow me to take pictures and video clips away from here without the camera if necessary. I often find I'm somewhere like, I'm driving along sort of thing and there's a really rare bird or something and I haven't got the camera. Well, if I've got the phone, yes, I have got a good camera. Chances are the resolution on the camera phone camera is better than that one. It won't have the functionality that's got, that's for sure, but won't be far off. I looked at my son sent me a video of a little goldcrest in a hedge. Now, I know how far he must have been away at least, or the bird would have flown. They're not, bold, brassy birds, they're timid sort of thing, so it would have been off. And that was zoomed in, a massive amount, and it was crystal clear and sharp. So, yeah, and I've seen a lot of his photos with his phone as well. So anyway, that's the phone side. What else is changing? Now this is I haven't looked into this, quite honestly, and the reason I didn't look into it was I set up the Patreon site where people can join and make a monthly contribution to the channel, and for those that have, it's greatly appreciated. And what I'm going to do doesn't replace that, it runs alongside, and there's a good reason for it as well. So, you know, people who wanted to make a regular contribution, set it up once and forget, that sort of thing, that's what the Patreon system and site actually does. And a good number of people have joined in with that, and it's greatly appreciated. But Hannah just looked at me. I was looking at somebody else's channel like that, and obviously I'm doing it on the laptop, so the banner headings are there, and it jogged her memory, and she said, "Why haven't you set up memberships?" And I looked at her blankly and said, "What's that?" So she started to explain, and then a distant memory came back. I'd already had a discussion about this with somebody somewhere. Now, memberships have got a lot of pluses, because a lot of people are watching YouTube on a phone. So they've got the YouTube app. Because they're on a phone, the chances are they've paid for things on their phone. So all the payment details and everything are already there at the press of a button. That's not true with Patreon. You have to set yourself up. So I thought, if I turn on the memberships things, people can join the channel as a member. I'm going to keep it simple. I'm not doing different tiers, and I'm not doing special things for members and stuff like that. But what it will allow members to get is that when they leave a comment, they get something bright and shiny, like a badge or a special emoji or something, that stands out in the big list of comments and lets everybody else know that they're supporting the channel, which you can't do on Patreon. Nobody knows. It's anonymous, basically. I know. But it's a way of shouting out that you've joined the channel and you're helping support it to keep this collection of orchids going in this environment. So I'm going to turn memberships on. When I've done it, because I haven't done it yet, I'm still reading. The downside is, because it's YouTube take quite a bit. But Hannah said you don't want to worry about that, because you've got an awful lot more potential people that will join, and you'll probably end up with a lot more channel members than you ever had on Patreon. And I'll say it, although I don't want to lose patrons, obviously, but if you're currently on Patreon and you'd prefer to be a channel member, I wouldn't have a problem with you swapping over. No? Nobody's going to do both. And the Buy Me a Coffee's still sat there. I mean, I had a couple of them this morning. Thank you very much. That's as a result of things over the weekend. So I'm going to turn membership on, and when you look at a video, the banner headings down below will have a new one, and it'll just say join. And you just click on that, or tap on that if you're on a phone or that type of device, and just follow the instructions, and they will be very simple. And basically, you know, you agree to a monthly contribution, and it goes in the same pot as the advertising money from my YouTube channel. So it all ends up together. I can see which bit's which, but it all ends up in the same place, gets paid out monthly. So we got shorts coming up. I mean, I haven't got the flipping phone yet, and I've still got to do the now, how do we do this? Whenever you do that, how do we do this? The first thing you do is go on YouTube and type in, how do I do bleh? And you'll get a shed load of videos showing you and telling you how to do it. I don't think anymore, I just let YouTube think for me. But given that it's an iPhone and it's one of the popular models, there will be a video on YouTube showing you how to do anything you want. The only thing you need to know is the fact that it's possible. If you don't know it's possible, you can't ask, can you? So, shorts coming up, more live broadcasts coming up, and membership opening up for the channel for people who'd like to join as a member of the channel and get their comments highlighted to show that they are supporting the channel. So those are the changes. I bet you were all thinking, oh, what's he going to do now? It's going to be bad, it's going to be bad. No, sometimes changes can be good. And we've got the Project Orchids coming up. The first one of those will be in a day or two. It can't be tomorrow because I need it to be February before I start, but it might well be Wednesday, get the first one going. And so we've got the Project Orchids to do. I've got a lot of repotting to do, and we've got the general care and stuff going on, and perhaps a bit in the garden now and again, but not, as I said, the bulk of the work's done apart from that bit down the bottom, which is a massive effort, but it's only one section of the garden left to do now. And then we can start prettying up the garden, as I call it, starting to get some things planted in tubs that have got colour, to splashes of colour around to keep the bees and the butterflies happy and things like that. And then as those flowers go over, there's seed heads for the birds as well. So yeah, so that's what it was all about. It's not doom and gloom. And if you watch the channel and you're happy with the way it is, then nothing's actually changed if you think about it. Because in the subscriptions feed, however you view like that, whether you get a notification or whether you go searching, the shorts are just another option. You don't have to choose them. But if you do, at least you don't spend long. I think they're limited to 1 minute or something, or they can't be a short. So they're a short, sharp shock, basically, of just something that's attracted your attention, and you just film it quickly, straight up on YouTube. So that's it, that's what it's all about, and like I said, it's a good job I've got an ideas person, isn't it? Because otherwise a lot of this stuff would never happen. But yeah, there's a lot of the good ideas that I get aren't mine. Some come from viewers, not, you know, credit where credit's due. There's an awful lot come from Hannah. So there we go. And I'll see you next time. Thanks for dropping by. And have a good think about the membership thing, because it is something that would be very simple to do. And yeah, as I said, when you know, if you're somebody who leaves comments regular, you might feel better about it if you sort of like, yeah, I'm a member, look, you can see I'm a member, there it is, sort of whatever it looks like. I haven't seen it yet. But anyway, coming soon, look out for the join button in amongst the others. You know, you've got videos, playlists, all that sort of stuff. Join will be a new option. And yeah, we'll go from there. See you next time. Thanks for dropping by. I've got pooter stuff to do.